Hey, Las Vegas. Welcome back here to Vegas Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show. And I'm Trish Williams.
And I'm Tiana Carroll. Girl, you need some coffee? That was a little sleepy. Are you okay today?
I think so. I don't know. Did I have I had coffee.
Yeah.
Maybe I need some more.
Just a long week, I guess?
Yeah, I've been traveling.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, I just got back. We were just a short trip away in Hollywood for a couple days, but we are back now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just
maybe,
in time
maybe
for
I
the
have
show.
jet lag from California. Is that a thing?
I don't know. You don't travel much, so it might take more out of you.
Yeah, that's true. This is true.
You're like 2 or 3 times a year, and that's it.
Yeah. One thing I did notice when we were coming back into Vegas, when we were flying in, like looking over the whole city. It's
beautiful,
wow.
isn't it?
It's beautiful, but it's like growing. I'm like, it's just stretching out further and further and further.
It's so big from the sky. I get that.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know. I don't think I usually look out the window when I'm in an airplane.
Oh,
so.
see, I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm a window seat girl, and I love looking out, especially like when I'm traveling up north and like you just see like when it's snowing and the entire northern country is just covered in snow. I love the sky. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, it took me a minute to even start flying. So
Yeah, that's true. You're new to this
gradually
game.
moving over to looking out the window. So
Oh yeah, no, I like to look out the window, and coming back, especially like at a sunrise or a sunset or at night when the lights are all on, so beautiful. And you're right, the town has grown. I remember when I was a kid going out to my hairdresser, what was it, Scandals, and I think it was at like Flamingo and Rainbow, maybe Jones. It was the end of the world. I was like, do we have to go all the way out there? Yeah, and now it's like central.
Yeah, that's like the middle of town now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the town has grown, but we love that.
Yes, we love the growth, and it is definitely, there's a lot of big things happening and stuff going on here that is amazing, and more houses. More houses. Yeah, there's no shortage of building going on. I was just talking to somebody at an event over, I want to say the weekend because I was off yesterday, but it wasn't the weekend. It was Tuesday, Wednesday. And they were basically saying like Vegas has changed so much since the last time they were here. And it was just 5 years. And I'm like, yeah, this town is just, I guess I sound a little redundant, like a broken record over here going, Vegas is growing. It's so awesome. You got to get in now. Vegas is growing. It's growing. But it is.
Well, just in my lifetime being here, just watching everything change. How often do you get to be in a city and watch it change that much and have that much growth and business change and even our entire economy going from simply hospitality to now being very diverse? It's a lot.
Yeah, and we're starting to see signs of, though it hasn't really happened yet, we're starting to see signs of, and this happens in all big cities, right?
Okay.
Of older areas becoming like historic, but like high demand.
Yeah.
We're starting to see that in these like downtown areas. It's taken a while. It's not overnight.
Yeah.
This isn't an overnight process, but I can see that moving forward, like those just older parts of town that were great and then forgotten about, now starting to come back, like make a comeback. So
Yeah. I see that too. I always try and explain to people like Vegas is basically like built in a bowl and the strip runs through the center of the bowl. So we're almost like tree rings that grow around the strip, and each year we just go further and further and further out. Well, now that we're so close to the mountains that surround us on almost every side, it feels like. So now people are coming into the center of town and picking up those old historic homes in those historic districts, which is great because there's usually no HOA, huge lots, mature landscaping.
The lots are such a big deal.
Yeah. And even like the room sizes.
Yeah, the room sizes.
Nice and big.
Well, a lot of times, like there's some of these like little teeny tiny doll houses downtown and downtown area, but they're building on to them and making them like these huge massive houses instead because they're on big lots. So we're seeing signs of that. And the thing is that for the longest time, people were like, I want to move outskirts, as far out, as possible. But now there's like a convenience factor because they're getting so far out that it like takes forever to get anywhere.
Yeah. Well, Okay, so that's got to be a perspective for us who have been in the valley forever and it feels 45 minutes across town. Oh, that takes forever. But for people coming from California who sit an hour in traffic to go 6 blocks, then all of a sudden across town in 45 minutes isn't bad.
You know, that is no joke. I was in California for the past couple of days, and we were Ubering all over town, and I'm like, we were I think it was like 0.4 miles away from our destination, and it was almost 30 minutes, and I'm like, how is this possible? We should have just walked.
I was going to say you can walk there faster.
What on earth is happening here?
Yeah, no, it's tough. That was a lesson I learned the hard way one year I was bringing my kid back from Lakers camp, and we left UC Santa Barbara, and I was thought, oh, well, we'll just stop and like have lunch on the beach before we hit the road or whatever, because they got off, I think, at noon. Right. And so we stopped and had lunch, and we got on the freeway, and it was about 2:30. And from like 2:30 to 5:30, we hadn't gone 2 exits. And I had a child and a dog in the car, and it was just like, are we there yet? Can we go? Are we moving? And I was so stressed out. I was like, oh, I think I would drink a lot if I lived in this traffic.
Not
that I should be drinking and driving. Let me just say that. But it would stress me out. When I got home, I'd be popping bottles.
I feel so bad for realtors there. Oh my gosh, because like you have to live in your car, and people need to have. I want to start a movement.
All right. Wow, we got some big goals this morning.
I want to start.
Look who's awake now.
Yeah, to revoke the horns. Like
I love
there
the
should be a limit of how long or how many times you can honk your horn and then you're done. Like it's like just go silent.
Like a lease with miles, you get 12 horn honks a year, and then it's tapped out.
Just tapped out, or
Yeah.
make them pay for it. I don't know, but the like horn honking is ridiculous. Like it's like all you hear like walking down the streets there, and I hear a lot too, but more so there than ever is like beep, beep, beep,
I
beep, beep,
never
beep.
hear
All
horns
these
here.
Oh, well, you've never driven with me.
Yeah, that's true. You drive a little slow for my taste.
I drive a little slow for everyone's taste. I believe in not being in a hurry to get to your destination.
Yeah, I'm like, I got a light foot. I can make up 2 minutes.
And when a light turns red or turns green, I like to wait a couple seconds.
I would honk at you.
Yes, just
I would
to-
be like, did you not see the light? Go,
Yeah.
beep.
Oh, I hate that. But it's like there's
I saw
always
you post the other day when you said something like, I love how people rush past me to end up at the same light as me.
Yeah, I know. But it's the like if you don't wait a couple seconds, like there could be the red light runners that are gonna just like slam into you. So you got to give it a couple seconds for the intersection to clear out. But yeah, and then people start honking their horns. Drives me crazy. I hate horns. I hate them.
Yeah, I don't really hear that much of them. I would. Maybe I'm just the honker. That's why.
Hang out with me for a day.
Girl, you need to move.
But it was more so in California. I was like, oh my gosh, that was just driving me insane.
Yeah. I like it. Big city communication, hustle and bustle. Honk, honk.
No, not my style.
All right.
So back to Vegas.
Yeah, back to Vegas where there's not as much horn honking as you think.
Yes, unless you're driving with me.
Unless we just all are honking at Trish.
So, for our single family,
Oh, wait, are we doing a show? Should we talk about Vegas real estate numbers?
I think so.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's do
Is that why we're here?
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Okay, let's do it. Today,
Okay.
our single family homes are?
Single family homes ticked up a little bit.
It did. I was like excited. I'm like, oh, we broached 3,400.
Yeah, well, you know what? Last week, between last week and this week, I have a lot of like listings coming up. You know,
Yep.
great new stuff and exciting. And I was like, is this just me?
Nope.
Or is inventory raising?
No, inventory's
So,
raising.
The numbers are showing inventory's raising. So let's hope it doesn't get out of control.
Yep, so the beginning of summer is our spring.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So we got 3,443 single family homes available today.
All right. We're still under 3,500. So
Still.
that's great.
But we ticked up from our 33 mark.
I am going to be watching that number like a hawk because, again, inventory, if it goes up too high, that's not good for our
Well,
market.
I think we're safe because I don't think you can really consider 3,400 too high.
No, not at all. I mean,
You'd have to add a couple thousand on
Yeah.
there just to be sort of normal and
we've got to
balanced.
get 5 to 6 to be what's considered a balanced market.
Right.
But still. I am still watching that.
Well,
very
yeah, because
closely.
it can change every week. It could tick up 100, 150 houses, and then you start growing, and then you're like, okay. And then our sold
382.
382.
Good number. Those numbers are looking good.
Yeah.
372 price reductions. Not a lot going on there.
Yeah, that's a little bit lower than what we've seen normally, but when I'm just by maybe 20, 25.
Absolutely.
There's not a lot of change there. And the under contracts, 639 under contract.
That's a good number, guys.
That's a good number.
Yes, yes. So, not much going on in the news other than rates did drop a little bit
Yeah.
last week.
Yep,
so.
to sort of counteract grazing a little the week before.
Yeah, the Fed rate did not drop. It was just organically the mortgage rates dropped a bit. So
Yep.
that was
Just- Yep, because they're not direct, right? If one moves, the other doesn't have to. But
No.
they try and stay almost congruent to one another to some degree, though.
good. Yeah, there was a little bit of relief there, and that was good.
Yep.
We got some listener questions.
We do have some listener questions. So I have to say, like, I'm enjoying these listener questions. Like, we're not quite halfway through the year yet. In January, we just started taking on these listener questions, and it seems to be fun, but I like, just being able to give people some information.
Yeah, definitely things that people wonder.
They
Inquiring
wonder.
minds want to know.
Yeah, exactly. And if you do want to know, and we haven't gotten to a question that fits you yet, then you can go ahead and send us an email to realtycheck.vegas and ask any questions you'd like there. And then you can get your answered question like Michelle, Nellie, and Steve, who are the three we'll be answering today.
Yes, and let's start with Michelle.
Okay, let's go, Michelle.
All right, Michelle was pre-approved for a mortgage.
Yay, good job, girl.
Yes, but since she got her pre-approval, she got a new job,
Okay.
and she wants to know if that voids her pre-approval.
Depends,
That's
right?
it. Depends. I feel like all the answers we have is like yeah and no.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe.
Right? Well, I think because there's so many nuances on any question that somebody's answering, it's not really a yes or no question. It seems like a yes or no question, right? Is my pre-approval going to be void?
No.
Simple yes or no. No, it's maybe. Because it depends upon your new job.
Yeah.
What does that new job look like? Is it in the same, I almost said capacity, same genre? What's the word I'm looking for?
The genre. I love that.
Genre.
Same field.
Same field. So genre is a fancy field. So if you're in the same field, right? If you're a nurse going to be a nurse,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But if you're a nurse and you're going to be an auto mechanic, then not that.
And even if you're a nurse and you're still in the medical field, but you become like a radiology specialist, in many cases that will still work.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you're still in the same field.
You have to be in the same field. The most mortgage criteria will say that you need 2 years of work history
Yep.
in the same field of work. Now, that also, interestingly, like in hospitality, such a big, open, broad area.
Right.
And there's a lot of cases where you could move into a different kind of job, a different job type in the hospitality industry, and it will still work out.
Right.
It just really depends. Or you could be an admin at a casino and then go be an admin at a medical office. And that would still work, even though you're not in the hospitality
Right.
industry anymore.
Because you're performing like duties, right?
Exactly.
And so that's that. And another thing, the new job that pre-qual will depend upon the money.
Depends on how much
Of
money
that
you
new
make.
job.
Did your income change for better or for worse?
Yeah, hopefully better.
Yeah.
Can we get always better?
Always a good reason to get a new job is if it changes for the better.
Yeah.
Um,
If you're taking a pay cut, you just hate your boss.
Yeah, well, it happens. And they will require, I believe it's 2 new pay stubs on the new job
Yep.
before closing to show that you didn't, some people start a job and they're there for a day. And have you heard the new thing that millennials are doing is now I forgot the word. They're
Maybe I'll help you with the word like you helped me with field.
Yeah.
What are we trying to accomplish?
They ghost their new employer, fire themselves, or I don't know.
They
there's-
quit.
Well, yeah, I guess it's like quit, but like there's like a thing that it's popular or not popular, I don't know, but it's happening a lot where like people will take a job and then just like never show up.
Oh,
You know, like they go through a whole interview process. And I was like hearing um, I don't know, news article or commentary or something about it. And they were saying that like it's been very common lately. And sometimes they'll go through like 2 or 3 interviews and then like finally get hired and then just, never mind.
you're like, oh, work is so not cool. I decided I'm not going to do that.
The interview process was so much fun, and I didn't get paid for that. So why would I show up when you were going to start paying me?
That is so funny. Well, I didn't hear that millennials are, in fact, ghosting their employers, but I get it. I wouldn't want to be working either.
Yeah, and then I heard that like this. I think it's called like silent quitting or something is like a thing now where like they just decide internally that they're not going to perform their job duties anymore, but they'll still show up until someone figures it out.
Until they realize, like, whoa, so you're not productive at all.
Yeah.
At all.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Great pool of employees out there these days. But
Well, listen, some of us don't love working for huge corporations, so I get it.
Yeah.
Some of us just want to sort of go to the beat of our own drum.
Right. So that could be a factor. And then also another very important factor is some people go from W-2 to 1099. You
Yep.
know, you could go on like a contractor type job but that would definitely be a big issue because
Yeah, that
you
would
have
change.
you have to have 2 years.
Yep, that would change everything. So once you get that pre-approval and you are going to, if you're getting a better paying job in the new field, then I would suggest doing it. But if you're changing fields or whatever, I would wait until you have the house secured, you've closed, and then make those changes.
Yep.
And that goes for everything. Like, don't buy a car, don't open a new credit card, don't close accounts, like, don't change jobs. Let's get your house, and then you can make those life changes.
No financial events.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Keep it cool, people.
Yeah.
All right. So then we got Nellie. I'm looking for a house, and some of the houses, my realtor is telling me that they're saying that there's no showings. Why the sellers do that? I love this question. Okay,
Yes.
so let's
we
just
all
put that.
want to know why.
Why they don't do that? Okay, so basically she's asking that she's looking for some houses and she wants to see them, and a realtor saying no show. I have this conversation all the time.
Oh my gosh, I know.
All the time, because buyers are like, why can't I get in that house?
Why are they even trying to sell it if we
Yeah.
can't
Like,
look at
what's
it?
the problem?
What
Like,
is
why
the
I
problem
want to
here?
see this house.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is all sorts of things. There's
Yes.
100,000 reasons under the sun on why they don't do that. So let's have you start answering some.
Well, let me go to the most drastic, and that is unsafe.
Okay, so you're going. Okay, so
There are times that they have homes that are no showings because it is unsafe to enter.
Yeah.
A roof could be caving in.
yeah, fire damage,
Fire damage.
being sold as is.
Yes, problems with the structure. I've seen it where they say you can't enter, and if you do, you have to sign a waiver.
Okay, so that's an extreme case.
Extreme cases.
Yeah,
yes.
that's an extreme case. So I usually tell people it really is sort of, depending upon the price point, right? When I'm going into multi-million-dollar homes, sometimes there's no show because there's artwork that they don't want privy to everybody. They don't like people coming in around all their valuables.
Yes.
On a different note, it could be just having like a tenant in place and they're trying not to disturb the tenant.
Or the tenant's not cooperating with showings, which they don't have to technically unless it's in their lease.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. So that could be it. Some people, I just love, these are my favorite. They're the people who don't want to be bothered at all. They
want the house to be
They're
sold.
just greedy. They're like, I want to sit around and do nothing and get the most amount of money possible. So we're not going to do any showings. It's going to be sold as is. And here you go.
Just pay me.
Yeah. Sometimes it's temporary, right? Like they're having carpet replaced, painting, some sort of fixing going on. So it's on a temporary no-show status for a week or two.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And let me go another extreme.
Okay.
Squatters.
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 I've seen that.
There's sometimes where a squatter has inhabited a home and they have to temporarily have no showings until the squatters are removed.
Yep.
Which
yep.
I did put on a repairs request once. That was always my favorite thing to mention.
Yeah.
We had a repairs request once where I had to put, please remove squatters.
The squatters need to be gone.
Yeah, like it's kind of a
My clients don't love people enough to take on tenants in their own home, so they got to go.
Yeah, that was
so
a
there's
big
always
issue.
a bunch of reason. I've had no-shows for people who work at night, graveyard shift, and they don't want to be disturbed during the day because they're sleeping. I've had people who have had rowdy animals and they don't want their
Yeah.
dogs barking constantly and scaring people. I've had people that have new babies that they never know what the new sleeping schedule is going to be like, so there's going to be no show. Sometimes when people do a no showing option, there's usually like a Matterport video walkthrough or some way for you to see sort of the finishes and the flow of the house.
or a day. I've seen often many times where there's a no-show property, which means you can't just come look at it any day, but we're going to do a window from this time to this time on this day, and that's when you can come.
Yeah, so there's like a company that I worked with out of Arizona for a while, and their entire marketing program was that forced showing, and it happened right before the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, it was a brilliant strategy because you would say it was no show. We're having appointments only on, say, the first Saturday that's at, and you're forcing everybody into an 11, 11:30, 12, 12:30 time slot. So you're seeing a line and it's making the appearance that this is desirable and everybody wants to be here, but they funneled them all into one showing to sort of create an illusion of demand.
Yes.
And so before the pandemic, that was great. But then when we had the pandemic, everything had to be scheduled and you couldn't be in a house when somebody else was in a house like that. Now that we're sort of moved out of the pandemic, but we're carrying over some of those mindsets, then you get people who are still using that marketing tactic, like we're only showing houses during the open house, or you have to have scheduled appointments on these days for it. So they do no showing status to utilize that to their marketing advantage.
Yep.
So,
And-
like we said, 100,000 reasons to do it.
Yeah, and one thing that I think I get a lot of is the tenant question
Okay.
of why are they selling the house if like it's tenant occupied, with the tenants in it. Well, sometimes, they want to move money, they want to
Yep.
change investments, they have multitude of reasons, and there's plenty of investors out there where they're doing it no show, there's no showings, you have to send an offer, and if they agree with your offer and accept the offer, then we can schedule a showing during due diligence.
Yep.
And this happens a lot on multifamily and fourplex. But there's also, they want the new buyer to assume the tenant lease because there could still be 6 months or a year left on that lease.
Yep.
So it's not for the traditional FHA buyer because that's not a possibility if the tenants are still there. So these are homes that are on the market looking for other investors to purchase.
Yep.
So we run across that a lot, and especially in like the entry level price points.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, those entry-level price points, it's such a double-edged sword because they are cute little money makers for investors, so all the investors want them, but first-time home buyers need them.
Yeah. So that's one thing we come across a lot and see those a lot more often, those no-shows in that price point.
Yeah. But no-show doesn't mean necessarily that anything is definitively wrong with the house. It doesn't mean
No.
that, you're never going to get a chance to see the house. It just means that you're going to have to jump through some hoops. But every time you have to jump through a little bit of hoops, you knock sort of willing participants out of the market for
Right.
you. So it lowers your pool of buyers, which may not be good for you as a seller, but for me as a buying agent, those are the things that I look for.
Yeah.
I love when homes have been at market price, but they've been on the market for a long time, or they have no showing, so they're not getting as many eyes on it. Because we all know the most amount of eyes on a property, the faster it's going to sell, and usually for more money.
Yeah, and you can do things like write offers contingent upon inspection, which
Totally.
is really, I mean, you're not really risking much as long as you have a due diligence in place. You put up your earnest money deposit, you can get it refunded if you do see the home and it's not working out for you, you have a way of getting that EMD back as long as we have a due diligence in place.
Yep,
And
totally.
that is, it's a great way to do things. So
Yeah,
don't
and I
not
can't even
consider
tell
that.
you how many offers I wrote in 2021 contingent upon viewing.
Yeah.
Because especially in 21, where you couldn't even get into the house, they were like selling within the same day. I was just sending offers out without looking at houses for everything,
Yeah.
right? Even if it was on a show status, because I'm just like, we're not even going to go look at it unless we can actually buy it. Are they
Yeah.
willing to play with us? Then let's see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, real quick, we got
So
to...
thank you, Nellie, for the
Thank
question.
you, Nellie, yes.
It was hard for me to read. I don't know if that was a me thing or a you thing, Nellie, but we got through it.
Yes, and our last one is from Steve.
Okay.
Steve, what does it mean when a home has rental restrictions, and should that concern me when purchasing?
Well, that's
Yes and no.
Yes and surprise! It's a yes and no answer.
Same answers every day.
It'd be so like, how boring would the show be if it'd be like, Michelle, can we do this? Yes. Can we do that? Yes. Can we do that? Nellie? No. Can we do? No. But there's different facets to this. So when a home has rental restrictions, do you need to be concerned about it when purchasing? Well, that depends.
It depends on what you want to do with the home.
Right. What is your intention with that home?
And what is your intention in the future?
Right.
So you might be buying a home right now for yourself, but in the future, would you consider this home being an investment property and wanting to turn it into a rental? With rental restrictions, that could be, you have to really open the question of what type of rental restrictions, because sometimes there's rental restrictions that are as simple as 6-month or more lease.
Right.
And some of them they will allow rentals, but a certain percentage in the community. And that if they are already at that percentage, you have to go
capacity.
on a wait list.
Yep.
Yeah. And once your name is up on that wait list, your unit is eligible to have a tenant. But until then, you're not.
Yep.
And that means someone else has to basically forfeit, sell, or do something else with theirs. And then there's rental restrictions where it is 100% owner occupied.
Yep.
No
No
renters
rentals.
allowed in this community. Now, that can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Okay, so I love an owner-occupant community just for the fact of that you have that pride of ownership. And I mean, they tend to be a little bit nosier of neighbors, and they'll be like, hey, I saw your lawn's not getting water or whatever. So they're their own version of an HOA, sort of hovering and keeping the property values higher.
Yeah.
But that is nice.
No, it is. And I tend to see in those communities a lot more kept up homes.
Totally.
Like very much you see pride of ownership when 100% of the community is owners.
Yeah.
You definitely tend to see a lot higher level of pride of ownership in that community without, just any rentals at all. So not all renters don't keep up their houses. There's definitely a lot that do. But
Oh, yeah, we're not trying to knock renters completely, but as somebody who sees a lot of renters and rental houses that either go on the market and they slap new carpet and a fresh coat of paint, but you just know like there's hard water buildup and there's so many like little maintenance things that renters not all the time do. Some of them do it, but
Yeah.
a lot of
Not
times
all
they
the
don't.
time. Yeah, so that is, you get to have like more pride of ownership and more like, I guess, less turnover of neighbors.
Yeah, yeah.
know?
Well, if you're buying owner occupied, then you're usually planting roots for sure. Like I have some that are in rental restrictions, and a certain amount, only 25% of the community can be rentals.
Yeah.
So, that's always like for me a 3 to 5 year plan. Like, okay, I could stay here for 2 years, put my name on the list. When it's up for rental, I move out, put a renter in here, and then go somewhere else.
Yeah, I like it. Not too much of a good thing, but just
Right,
enough.
right. Yeah, I listened to an economist once, and she was talking about how that was her plan. She'd buy a place, she'd stay in it for 2.5 years, put a renter in it, and then move on to another place and another place and another place. And she's like, moving's no fun, but making money is, and this is the best way that I found to make money. And then I sat down and looked at all the numbers. I'm like, That's actually a pretty good strategy.
It
I
is.
like it.
It is, yeah. So
Yeah.
that is good. So yeah, should it concern you? Definitely. Just, I mean, we could have a talk with you about what your long-term goals are.
Right, and that's what it would be, like, how do you plan on using this property? And then we can best help you with that question about restrictions.
Yeah, strategize it. And sometimes, the values will hold strong in those areas or in those neighborhoods. And, sometimes it's a deterrent because no investors can buy in there. So we can definitely have a conversation about that. And if we want to have a conversation about that, how would people get a hold of you, Tiana?
Hey, my handy dandy cell phone, kiddos, 702-379-9948. You can call me or text me if you have a specific question or something that you're interested in real estate. You can always send emails to the realtycheck.vegas. We already talked about that earlier. And if they want to speak with you directly on it, how do they call you?
You can call me on my cell phone, 702-308-2878. I'm Trish Williams, and we are here every Thursday at
Indeed.
9:30-ish.
9:30-ish. It's Vegas time. It's
Yeah.
kind of fast and loose.
Yeah, all right.
But if you're enjoying the content and you do want to come back every Thursday, make sure you smash that like, share, and subscribe.
Smash it. Yeah.
I love that term.
Love that.
Smash the like, share, and subscribe. Join our community. We're glad to have you, and we will see you next week.
Bye. Bye, Vegas.
Bye, Vegas. Have a great week.